Okay, hey, I'm going to make one final video. I know this has been a lot, but I wanted you to be sure you knew we're getting ready to train you in the resource, and there'll be a lot of support for that. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Can't believe it. I already made this video once today and I forgot to share my screen. So here I am. Going to do it the second time, but I'm going to keep this a little more brief than the first one I did. So let me jump directly into the slides that go with what I'm talking about. And you'll see that included in the material I sent you are these slides so you could reference them. So please know that August 9th, there will be 3 sessions that are put on by McGraw-Hill and a really great trainer. Her name's Skylar. And so she and I have talked about the way we could have 3 different levels on that day. There's a 9:30, a 12 o'clock, and a 1:30 session. Those 3 are all different. You want to make sure you sign up for, I think, level 1 if you've never used this product before. You could certainly go to all 3 that day if you want to be really familiar. So August 10th, we'll be together, at least for one session. You have choices that day, but I would certainly recommend you select one of the ELA overview sessions. I'm going to do the same material for all 3 sessions, so you don't need to go to more than one. But it would be a great opportunity for you to feel familiar and caught up with the way we have designed the year. Okay, on the right of this slide, you'll see information for a demo account. There is a possibility that we would not have everything ready to roll technologically on the first day. Some classes may be still being built, some rosters still might be being built at some buildings. So in order for you to get in and see and play around a little bit, this demo account would provide you that chance. I checked it today. It's the full experience. It just doesn't have the ability for you to assign any work to students. It's really just kind of in the see only mode. So you do have to type in the login, you do have to type in the password, and it is case sensitive. I've had people tell me it doesn't work, and it's generally because they were copying and pasting. So do try it the long way of typing that in there. Okay, I also wanted you to have these links, and I won't go into them, but I want you to look and take a look at what supports are here. There's a lot of supports, but I really break it down into these big 6 on this page so that if you spent some time in this PD looking at these 6, I think you would feel supported and perhaps see some ways you could get back to learn more when you have more time to look. Okay, this is how you get in to StudySync. So at the very top, this is actually a live link where it says KCPS Clever Access, which is important because you'll notice right below it, it says Kansas City Public Schools and then not your district. Lots of people use Clever. And so in the event that you're, ending up where it doesn't look like this to start out, you or your students might be logging into a different access point for like a different district or even a different state. So try to use this link and then do look for at the top, does it say the right place? Okay, on step 2, after you've gone in through Clever, it will prompt you for your login information. It'll tell you what form to put your username and what form to put your password. You would get into the next screen and you would see a lot of apps on that page. You would scroll until you see secondary ELA and math. And then the app that you would choose says McGraw-Hill. It's red. I've highlighted it a whole bunch here to show you which one. It's not the one to the right, which is for elementary. That one says Wonders. We will not use that one for secondary education. Okay. Once you do that step and you click that big red McGraw-Hill button, it will prompt you to this next screen. And really, it will not say StudySync where you see the arrow. Instead, that would have the name of your classes, and there'll be an icon for each one of your classes, and you simply click on that icon to get into the program. Okay. In the event that it doesn't look like this yet when you go in, you do not need to build your own classes. All that means is that there's some step that still needs to take place at the building level, more than likely. And maybe you do not have classes yet in Infinite Campus. Until you have classes in Infinite Campus, they will not sync with StudySync, and so you won't see much when you go into StudySync. But the day you have classes in Infinite Campus, the very next day, 24 hours later, you would have a roster appear directly in our program. So it's actually better not to try to create your own class. It causes confusion when we do have the ones that are auto-rostered, and sometimes students are not sure which one they're to go into when they're doing their work, and it just kind of creates clutter. So I would recommend you wait until it's fully built for you automatically, and that way we know everything's accounted for. Also, if students join your class, that's what it says in the middle. They will not be there instantly, but 24 hours later, it does a sync every night to find new or people that need to be taken out of the system. So if a student leaves your class, the same thing happens. About 24 hours later, after they come off of your Infinite Campus roster, they will also go away from your StudySync roster. Okay, so that's really just the whole nuts and bolts of just getting in. Now I'm going to go in and we're going to kind of act as if I'm already in there. And this is what you would see in your home screen. Okay, we'll know your name. It'll say welcome back, and there'll be 5 tabs across the top. And this is the home page. In the event that you want to get back to the home page, all you have to do is click the top left StudySync logo. It brings you back to this home screen. Okay, on the home screen, there's a lot of material for you to kind of soak up and digest, but also some help, and just kind of some ways to get to know the product. So check that out down the way. Okay, in the top right corner by your name, there's a place called Help Center. And Help Center features an awful lot of really kind of frequently asked questions. There's a training. If you want to do a 35 credit, 3-hour course, it's not actual college credit or anything. You just work up to 35 points here. But I think you would find you get a certificate and you get labeled like as a certain level of expertise to start your year. So please do take that training. Let me know you do. You don't necessarily have to because we're going to cover an awful lot of it when we do the training together. But I think there's always more to learn, right? So even a user of this product for multiple years still has more to learn as they keep coming back to it because they have now room to learn the next thing or go a little bit more advanced with it. So take a look in this page. Find if there's information that you think is useful and helpful to you. Sign up for a webinar. Down at the bottom, they have that option. And you'll notice that it's very easy to sign up. And these are national and often also sometimes local. But they have them every afternoon. They're half an hour, just about long. Sometimes they're longer. But you can go to all those for free, and you can even get those in your email. If you don't attend, they send you generally a video, even if you miss going in person or on virtual. They're all virtual, I should say. Okay, and then in the bottom right corner, when we're on this page, this is a chat, and it's a chance for you to ask StudySync directly any number of questions that you might have, and they're pretty quick to get back to you. They are teachers on the other side too, and so you may ask them teacher-related questions, or you may ask them technology-related questions. They are ready to talk about both. Okay, so I'm going to go back to just the home page. I got out of the Help Center. We're back at square one. At the top, you're going to see a button that says Core ELA. This is the path I'm going to show you that opens primarily the thematic units and generally all the materials that go with them. So you'll see 6th through 12th grade is listed at the top. You have access to all those grade levels. Do respect that other teachers are teaching that material the following year. So you can look at it and tread on it, but you may not want to assign it all because then the teacher will say, hey, you guys did this last year. Okay, so 6th grade, I'm going to go ahead and just look at, there's a program guide, the overview of the whole year, and a scope and sequence for the whole year. These are similar to the documents you see that I have produced on our district website, but they're not exactly the same. Okay, so if I go to Unit 1, I'm going to open this little yellow button that says Core ELA Unit. This first page is a unit overview. This video is a minute long and it gives you a synopsis yourself as the teacher for what we're trying to do with this unit. It also gives the chance to maybe play this video for your students, for them to anticipate, make some predictions. You'll say the way that's organized is an essential question, a thematic unit with a unit title, and a specific writing project. By reading over this, you yourself could understand the complexity that we're going for in this unit. You could also kind of just mine for the materials that are going to be part of the unit. Each one of these little buttons opens up and gives you a sense of really what we're working on in specific ways as the unit goes on. Okay, so I'm in unit overview. No material for me to teach with there, but just below it where you see integrated reading and writing, I'm going to open that path. Okay, you'll see at the top it says instructional path and all of these nice little orange bullets for me to open. I will tell you that for the new year, we're working on jumping past this sync start. It was a discussion amongst curriculum writers and myself that it was really a slow start to the year and really maybe too many skill lessons, not enough reading. So potentially the three you want to emphasize the most are annotation and collaborative conversations and peer review. Those are three mechanisms that will really be powerful if we can put those in place in every grade level. So I'm going to close Sync Start 11. Like I said, we're not necessarily going to do that one. If you follow our curriculum map, you'll see we jump over that and we start from the blast and the big idea. So if I open up the big idea, this is going to introduce the essential question for the unit. It's going to have students discussing a lot to get the unit started, and it's going to give us a sense of how to bring in prior knowledge. And you can see the theme is about how we're going to, what's tested our limits throughout our lives so far. So be fun to hear from sixth graders about their limits and when they've been tested. And we're going to get them talking, I hope, the most in your classes. Okay, so if I found this assignment, the first thing is I could show it to my students on the board and kind of lead them through it. You'll see that every StudySync lesson you can preview and put up there. That way you can see what the student's experience is like and kind of model it for them on the wall. If I want to assign this blast, just the same way I previewed it, I would click right next door and it would say assign. And I can pick any number of targets. What's going to be nice is when you click this word target, listed here will be all of your classes. And so in one move, you can assign that task to everybody, or you can pick specific people, or you can pick specific classes that get different materials. This assignment is called a blast. And so some of the blasts you could make longer by turning in on these research links so that the students maybe in groups had a chance to read these, talk about them, and then speak back in that same class period as to what their research link had to do with the big idea that we were studying. But generally in a blast, a student is going to do a lot of annotating, a lot of discussing, a small little writing part, and then it finalizes with peer review, where students can do an anonymous peer review and then celebrate the best writing of that hour. So please let me know that you want to make that happen. And I would love to come work with you directly on that part because the blasts are really fun to bring to life and make happen in class. Okay, so we also want to load them up with the content vocabulary. We want to study the genre, and then we want to really know about some of the academic vocabulary that's going to get us going. If I just show you one more, this one has a first read. So Mighty Miss Malone is the next reading. You can see I just opened that one. And then by looking at the unit maps, I discovered that it wanted me to teach the first read. It wants me to teach the skill-based lesson of character. And then it wants me to teach the close read, the Mighty Miss Malone. So in this case, the first read, students do this pretty much on their own with our leading them through it. What we call the productive struggle, where they'll annotate text, look for important ideas, and really that is the first read. So when you follow those lesson plans that are right here, you could print these and use them to navigate and make the moves that are going to be the most impactful and kind of practice your lesson. Instead of creating it all, this would be an act of kind of internalizing the moves that you're going to make throughout the day. So that'll get you started. There'll be more training about it, but I really wanted you to see a way you could explore and kind of play around in between now and when we have the other training. Please do, because the more you experiment and play, the less daunting this program becomes. Really, each unit is organized the same way. So when you get good at the structure of unit 1, you'll feel better about unit 2 and unit 3 and unit 4 and unit 5. Okay, last thing to point out is right underneath integrated reading and writing. This is where you find the writing project that goes with each unit. And so if I click on that tab, you can see that it's going to lead me through the writing process. And I'm going to work on that process gradually with my students so that we're doing this part of the assignment in the unit, maybe at the 12th, the 13th, or 14th day. And for the rest of the unit, we're doing half reading and half writing. But maybe we read first and then we write the second in some days. Maybe we start off the day doing the writing related project and see how far we can make it without losing focus. And then in the event that we need to go on to the next thing, we do some of the reading for that day. And I've shown you that in some of the curriculum maps and how reading and writing can kind of parallel in one class period. So again, I would assign, I would preview, I would read the lesson plan. I would even customize to make sure that I was giving the right amount of the assignment for my kids. But I would assign these parts and then preview and model them with my students all the way through the writing process, all the way through revision. And in revision, we might be working on, let's go back and see how we started. What was our beginning like? Let's go back and apply that to the story we read. How about, do we need more descriptive details, right? Could I go back and emphasize some transitions? How's your conclusion? Let's go back and look at that again. Okay, and then the final step is editing, publishing. And what I would show you is that there's a lot of grammar skill being taught inside of the student's writing. And the best application to process this material is probably through your own work. And you can own it that way and see how pronouns would help, in your own writing, show how consistent pronoun use helps in your writing. And that might be the main thing you can see that we're really working on in all three of these lessons. So that if that was a focus that you gave during the writing process, students would benefit for the rest of the year. Okay, so each extended project has kind of different goals and different elements of grammar that it emphasizes. So if you follow those throughout the year, we'll be sure we hit the big and most necessary parts of grammar too. Okay, hope that's been helpful. I'm back to the home page again. I just clicked StudySync in the left corner. So happy exploring. I know there's a lot, and I hope the training will help. And I hope the videos that I have created will give you the ability to practice and feel stable as you jump in to this wonderful year of teaching ELA. Have a fantastic one. Signing off, Chris Oaten.